Hey folks, you're watching Connor, and this is episode 5, part 2 in the weekly fitness vlogs. What are you going to see in this episode? In this episode, I'll do a back workout and my commentary over that so you can see what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and how that can help you in your back workouts. Then we're also going to be doing the reveal, so to speak, of the 1 month transformation to show the results of the weight cut that I've been doing at that time. You ready? Let's go. Kicking things off then with the back workout for the week. So this back workout was 3 sets of cable rows. You're seeing the cable rows now, and then 1 set of dumbbell rows, which you'll see soon. So this is the first set of the cable rows, which I'm showing from this angle. What am I doing right? As usual, you probably heard me harp on about this before, but nice slow and controlled form. You can see it's really difficult for me, even though I'm using basically no weight. I mean, the weight on the bar on the machine is literally just there to stop the handles from moving a little bit too much, because the particular movement that I'm trying to do is so difficult. So what is the movement? The movement in its simplest form is me pushing my chest up, pinning my shoulders back for the whole movement, and essentially just rolling my elbows forward and backways. Now this is kind of hitting the middle part of your traps, so I'm focusing on pulling my elbows to the sort of mid part of my back, whereas in other row machines you'll see me, in other row exercises, you'll see me pulling my elbows back and down the ways. So this is me focusing on that particular part of the back. Now you can't necessarily see anything too wrong with this one, but you'll see in the next set where the problems lie and where I'm having difficulty with. The angling of this second set really lets you see some of the issues that I'm having with this particular exercise. Now, once the elbows are pulling back, you can see the symmetry issues are pretty vulgar here, like especially when I pull really far back. So the left elbow is way far down and the right elbow is way far up. And it's kind of tough to think, you know, which way's best, because you gotta understand this is all trial and error for me, right? Like, this is still something that I'm experimenting with and studying with and all that sort of thing. So when I first kind of looked at this in the middle of the training session, because this is all news to me, I only see it when I record it. It's not like I have mirrors in here and I don't have anyone training with me, so I don't spot these things. And how you can relate it to you a lot of the time is everyone thinks they're symmetrical until you show them a video or you show them a mirror or something like that. It's not like anyone is consciously being asymmetrical, so it's important to note that. As for the why this is happening, to be honest, it's a little bit complicated. As I said, at first glance I kind of thought, you know, okay, maybe I need to raise my left elbow up more because the left elbow was dipping more than the right. And then when I went into the third set, as you'll see in the third set, I tried to focus on bringing that left elbow up a lot more. For this third set then, based off of the information that I'd seen from a tiny camera screen, I thought that maybe my best option would be to raise my elbow up a lot more. Long story short, I think I was wrong now. Looking back with the hindsight of the information I have now, you kind of see here that I'm like consciously trying to bring my left elbow up and kind of flare it more. But it was in the process of trying this the wrong way and trying to bring my elbow up more that kind of made me realize what I was doing wrong. It wasn't that the left elbow was coming down too much, it was that the right elbow was flaring up too much. So when it's flaring up, it then causes you to use your upper traps in the front of your shoulder. And the reason I was doing this was, of course, because of my injury on that side. So I have a lot of issues with mobility in that right side because of the 2 tendons that I tore. So with the hindsight information on that, what I'm going to be doing moving forward is actually focusing more on bringing the right elbow down as much as I can. But bear in mind, obviously it is quite difficult because I have a couple of torn tendons there. So that's something that is going to be difficult, and it is going to be something that takes work. But hopefully you can kind of see from this and learn from it and take something from it that will help you with your back workouts. But in any case, you can see the intensity of the workout is quite difficult for me, hopefully. The movement itself is the hard part, and the action of, you know, keeping your chest up and pinning your elbows back as far as you can with the intention of almost making your elbows touch. Although I'm aware that's impossible, it's to do with the intention. That's how you're going to get a good back workout. Finishing things then with the dumbbell rows. This is a funny little exercise, and it's probably one that I think most people get wrong because it's so difficult to actually do right. This is an exercise that, for context, I'm doing with like, I think 1 kilo weight or something like that. So it's not even the weight, it's the movement that's very difficult. You try to do this exercise with a bunch of weight, and you're just going to end up using your arms or your traps or some other body part that you're not trying to use. You're trying to target your lats for this exercise. So how do I actually engage my lats? Well, I need to bend over, which means I'll need to have a bit of bend in my knees just for stability and balance. I'll usually have my hand on something. In this case, I've got my non-active hand on the machine there, and I'm pushing my chest up and I'm pinning my shoulder blades back. And from there, holding that position is tough, but all I'm trying to do is focus on letting my elbow come all the way down, zero tense on my arms, no activation of my triceps or my forearms or anything like that, and I'm literally just focusing on pulling my elbow back with the intention of bringing it around my back without letting my opposing shoulder pull forward, if that makes sense. So if someone tells you to pull your elbow behind your back, you're naturally going to rotate your shoulders, but I'm trying to keep my shoulders squared off and just pull that elbow round my back with that sort of intention, and that's how I'm going to engage my lats with this exercise. Again, this is not an exercise you're going to be able to do with heavy weights, particularly if you're like me and you have no lats to begin with, because they were a muscle group that I neglected for so long, and dumbbell rows is only something that I've recently been able to get decent back activation on. You'll see I kind of approach the camera here just to show you this is like 1.5 kilo weights or something like that once the camera comes into focus. So this is not something that you want to be using heavy for. I should start off by apologizing for the editing. It's really not great here, but hopefully you can still get the general idea anyway. So the image on the left was taken about a month ago, and the image on the right was done a few days ago. The only difference on the actual scales is about 3 pounds, but as you can see, it doesn't tell the full story because there's so much more muscle and I'm so much more leaner in the right than I am in the left, which goes to show that the scales aren't necessarily the most accurate way of tracking your progress, which is the point of this. If you can look past the awful editing, you can see that there's a severe difference in both muscle quantity and in how lean I am. I hope you've taken something from this video that you can use to help you in your own personal fitness journey. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I answer them myself personally because I want to make sure that you get the results that you want. Last little note, I want to thank all of you that have subscribed so far. I hope you're benefiting from the content and will do in the future too. I've been Connor, take care, and I'll see you next week.